All right, now this is, Alex, this is history being made here. This is first of all, our return to the network. This is simulcast. This is on both networks. So this is on KMS and the Menners network as well, where we have now, Menners, first of all, welcome. Good to see you again.
G'day, Tom. G'day, Alice. Great to see you both, even though you stabbed me in the back. You hung me out to dry. You abandoned me in my hour of need. You know, I don't hold grudges, so...
I legit felt freaking terrible about it. You should have.
It was a terrible thing to do to me.
It was a terrible thing. It was a terrible effing betrayal. I owe you one. I already told you that if you want, that you obviously sleeping with Alice is the least. that's just to get you back to the table to forgiving me.
That did make me feel a lot better.
Good.
The thought of that even just made me feel a lot better.
Thank you. All right. Well, speaking of this, on Menners Live last night, or was it last night? It doesn't matter. By the time this airs, who knows? But Menners Live, you were freaking. Oh, it was fantastic. Like watching a freaking mongoose attack a bunch of cobras. You were absolutely ripping BA and Montante, John and Scranton. What is individually? What is it that you hate about these people? Going one by one. We'll start with BA.
I don't hate BA, but I hold a big grudge against him for the way he betrayed me. He betrayed Joe. Okay. He showed his true colors. And, you know, it's going to take me a long time to get over that. And I'm worried about him. I mean, he's clearly stress eating. I mean, since he left my network, he is doubled in size. I mean, you just look at his camera, like his head on the camera, it's ballooning out. And I'm worried he's, really, the betrayal that he did he's eating away at him, and he's stress eating.
Yes. I am familiar with doing that. As a matter of fact, I myself, since I've betrayed you, have gained some weight here that I'm trying to stifle, but everybody has their own way of coping. You and Montante got into it pretty good today as well. Is that all about him betraying you too, or is that him selling Kirk crypto or whatever?
Yeah, no, Montante's never betrayed me. You know, he's a very good friend of mine, but he did scam me out of, a couple $100 when he made me buy Trump 2024 coin. He talked me into it. I fell for it. It's my own stupid fault. I don't blame him, essentially, because I went through all the steps to buy it. So it was my fault. But he did sort of lure me into it. Again, Alice, you'd probably have to, as an objective third party, would say, that's my fault. I mean, although I'm angry at him, I shouldn't really blame him.
Yeah, I mean, there's the scammers, but I don't take any financial advice from Montante. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but he's so sensitive about it. I just like needling him about it. So
yeah, and by the way, do we have any doubt that he was absolutely just using Kirk for the Kirk thing and
to pump it up?
Of course he was, and of course there's no doubt he was.
It's like a pyramid scheme.
We need the SEC to look into this because it could totally be a.
No, but here's the thing: is that like Montante, we love Montante, but he's a Jersey operator. He's not he's what happens when you're a dude Italian from New Jersey and you don't get into finance, and you don't get into the mafia. You do this kind of low level, murky equivalent. So yeah, of course he's going to try to sleep with your girl. Of course he's going to take your money and do stuff with it, etc. Of course. But at the same time, there's something very pure and honest about him. That it's like you don't.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, he absolutely is a great guy.
Not the sharpest tool in the shed, but a great guy.
I kind of disagree with that. Not the sharpest in the sense that I do believe that he was last in his class and got like a 7 in the American SATs, but he's got street smarts, no doubt about that. He's a guy who, for a living, gets stuff. So it's good to have one of those guys. And John and Scranton, is that one? That one actually seems a little more personal.
I mean, he's just a rat, but he's always been upfront about it. You know, he always said he would stab me in the back if it meant getting into the KMS show somehow. So yeah, it's not. He's just annoying. He's just a very aggravating person. He's a terrible CEO. He's an average producer. He's unreliable. But he's always been very open to peace between the two networks, and I think deep down, he means well. So
right.
Yeah, I've just got some animosity towards him again for cutting and running at the first opportunity, like you and Alice did.
Yes, no doubt about that.
Because it's, what's amazing is, I can sort of see why now you're on like a failing radio station, because, that was just terrible instincts to do that. I mean, my network stands apart. It is much better. It's higher quality. It's more engaging. It gets more clout. And you, at the first sniff of just Kirk opening a door that is to nothing, like he just buries your show at the bottom of his YouTube page. He never talks about it. When does John ever done anything for your show? Never talks about it. He's all about himself. It was just a terrible decision of yours and a terrible instincts.
Well,
Kurt does sometimes talk about this show.
I admire your psyops, Menners. Every part of this and the manipulation and it's,
what are you doing?
It's I don't know where you learned it, but it's probably very effective in some corners. But remember with Kirk, I was banished, so. So
yeah, no one was allowed to talk about Tom for a long time on the main show.
And I was banished so like me and who's in Bristol? John in Bristol.
Kevin in Bristol?
Yeah, for some reason Kevin in Bristol. We
found
ourselves
Kevin in Bristol was banished longer than
we found ourselves in adjoining cells where it just like it was not whatever. And so it was. I had to do whatever I could to get back in whatsoever, and I got back in and then back in studio, which is not even about
living the dream.
Yeah, and that's not about any affection Kirk has for me. That's about sticking it to Menners and like needing to fill a seat one day last Thursday, etc. So yes, as far as the failing radio station, I will have.
But that would have happened anyway. That would have happened anyway if he stayed on my network. Kane is Abel went in last week. Yeah, he's on my network. So
that is true.
Continue. Yeah, failing radio station. Go on, failing radio career.
It is. How dare you say the failing radio career? First of all, anybody who still has an AM radio career in talk radio is doing wonderfully, against headwinds. That is one by one picking us all up.
That's what my work always says when things go wrong. There's macro headwinds.
There are macro headwinds, Menos. It's not that I'm failing. There are macro headwinds that are working against me.
All the AM radio stations have macro headwinds. But yeah, this is a conversation. We have this conversation a lot in our house.
Yeah, last week,
Menos, occasionally very critical. Tom will tell you.
Last week, Alice freaking lost her shit on me because I wasn't applying for this job doing PR for community services for Black outreach.
It pays like double what he makes now.
You absolutely should be applying for it.
But he would
absolutely should be.
It pays like double what he pays now, but he'd have to go into work 5 days a week and do real work all day.
Into Roxbury, Massachusetts. Roxbury, Massachusetts.
If you don't know, that's extremely dangerous for people like Tom.
That place, Alice Lane or whatever it is, where everybody gets whacked in Australia, that's what that is. It's like, first of all, I'm not helping. I'm a Republican. I don't help poor people.
Should get a comms role or a PR role or something stable.
Thank you. Thank you. But I said, what are you going to do when the radio station lays you off? And he said,
which is going to be soon.
He said, I'm going to do gigs until I get another gig.
Oh, my God.
And I said, what are you, Mike Manansky? What are you doing?
No, I will not be doing the
I'll be doing... No, you said you're going to do gigs until you get another gig. Those are your exact words.
Tomorrow, Ellis, I'll start freaking going to grocery stores for whatever that app is and, driving
But you should
Amazon
also
trucks.
Probably apply for, PR jobs,
I don't know how long I'll last in PR, Alice. It is... You have to do so much pretending to be people you're not. It is a fucking...
Compared to everybody else whose heart is really in their career that they have.
Well, I have a radio contract right now. I'm getting a check. I'm not Mutt quite yet.
Well, yeah, but I mean...
How much longer did your contract have left?
A year.
It has a year, but
okay,
but Odyssey is very publicly going through a bankruptcy, so all contracts are renegotiable.
We've been bought by Menner's guy George Soros, so we've been made whole for at least the time being. No, I don't doubt that I'm going to be laid off at any time. Obviously, and it's funny you get to, and I don't know if you're attached to a TV or radio station right now, Menners, but you can hear. Well, I'm not going to talk about my current station. I'm just saying that generally in radio, you can hear in the imaging and in the traffic and continuity, you can hear when people aren't there who should be there, but they've been fired. And you can feel it. And I can't get into anymore. But it's fair to say.
Do you feel that about yourself?
Has your clock changed at all?
Oh, I do my own clock. Well, I mean, has my clock changed?
Like, I mean, for like news and traffic and weather breaks and stuff like that. And no. Okay.
Well, it hasn't changed, but it's what's in those breaks
that's different.
That's different. That tells you what's going on. So about my own performance, no, I think I do a good radio show. It's not anything you'd like. I think American conservative politics is not your thing. I don't think.
Not at all.
Which reminds me, by the way, Kirk complaining about me being so political this time when I was in the studio. He was being political too, and then I was, and then in classic Jon Stewart style. He's like, why are you being so political? We're just having fun. You started being political.
Well, it was the Coleman story.
Okay, let's start about that. First of all, the Beyond Average Mick versus Patrick Ford and Mutt controversy this week. I do think that, for Christ's sakes, it's this. Where was Mick Thursday when we were in the studio? He's getting bowled over and like blushing because Patrick Ford gives him corporate roses that he doesn't even pay for himself. Fuck, man. Come on, Mick. That's why I think, Menner, that it's like maybe it's too early for him to come back.
Yeah, I said exactly the same thing on Menner's Live.
I stole it from somewhere. I knew that I got it from somewhere.
Yeah. He came. I think he's come back too early, and I feel sorry for him. He's a shell of his former self. He's allegedly got Crohn's as well. He's got a broken heart, and I think he could do with a few more weeks on the sideline. Listen to the show, take some personal time, because this is not the Mick we know and love.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's like Clubber Lang beat Rocky, and Rocky just doesn't have it. He thinks he has it. He's going through the motions, just doesn't have it. And
that fake bit with Kirk where he said, "Oh, I'm going to beat you in basketball." It was so forced. It was so fake. And Mick does that a lot. They're all fake bits. They're all scripted. You know, the whole him and Al thing and the Crohn's. It's all an elaborate little lie.
I think he's legitimately angry.
But he was deflated. It was not in him anymore. Like, he should have been, instead of pretending to throw down with Kirk before a game where he was going to do nothing. Before pretending to do that, it's like Kirk and I were both beating on Patrick Ford and Mutt. It's like, we're doing the bidding for you, dude. Get in on it, you know. But he just wasn't. He didn't have it. He didn't have the energy or the interest or
I'm down on Ford though. I'm down on Ford. I've been down on Mutt for a long time. You know, one of the most disappointing people ever, Mutt Manansky. You know, and I don't want to say he's was a hero, because you know that would be an incredible stretch. But he was someone that I would listen to a lot on the radio when he was Kirk and Jerry, when he'd do his show. You know, he was one of the real people at EI I liked. You know, I liked him. I liked Bradfo. I liked Kirk. And then since Mutt has left EI, he's just very disappointing. He's good on the show, but that's about it. You know, he's a loser.
And I don't get this. Like, I do not get it being like. And also, by the way, he was only going to be a very vanilla, like play-by-play, X's and O's kind of guy. That's his thing. He's not interesting. Bradford is actually interesting. He's got an interesting sense of humor.
I like him a lot.
Yeah, same here. But Mutt's refusal to do anything else, to look at anything, to take an offer from David Portnoy seriously, I would be freaking. And like I said, I have nothing to offer about Barstool, but I would sure as fuck be answering that phone call. It's like, what else are you doing?
Right.
I don't get it. I mean, Menners, if Portnoy was interested in talking to you, you would talk to him, I assume, right?
Yes, but I've never once thought about working at Barstool. Like, I meet and speak to people all the time who dream about working at Barstool. But yeah, of course. I mean, you'd be stupid not to. But Mutt is just a loser. He's so disappointing. Like, he's better than that. He's holier than thou attitude. Like, he's better than the Minifans. You know, he thinks he's waiting for this dream job he's never going to get. And then, like, Kirk is one of the few people who's not disappointing. Like when you meet Kirk in person, when you speak to him, he's not disappointing. He has no better than attitude, even though he's, very smart, very successful. He could have a bad attitude, but instead, Mutt, this fucking loser, he's the one that has this better than attitude. No wonder he can't get a job, because that catches up with you. People hear about that stuff.
Well, but the thing is that he's known in the business, and I've never worked at the same place at the same time as him, but we've all been around the same areas in Boston, and he is considered like the best guy, like the best, like good guy in radio. But
it's simple, probably.
Well, maybe, but a lot of simple guys behind him, once they get behind him, might become pricks. And he just doesn't have. What's your problem with him? Because he doesn't like you either. Where did that come from?
No, he just pretend. He just carries on like he's better than the Minifans. He was too good for the network when I was running it. Then he, did this whole thing with the rundown guys. He just thinks he's king shit when in fact he's actually a pile of shit.
I don't even know if he I don't know if it's quite that he thinks he's like better than the Minifans per se, but I think he thinks he's better than like being on the network or.
No, absolutely.
Unless it's like a one-off where he's coming in and is like being a celebrity. Like he comes in and feels that he's coming into the show as an equal, like a Jared Carabas coming in, and that he's on par with Kirk career-wise, and it's just like not really true.
That's right, and I think that's what Menders is saying. It is a better than thing. I don't think in Portland, I don't think he's hobnobbing with the crowd unless he's got a big gig, a big scene in there. He expects to be treated.
It was Casey Smith.
Well, that wasn't. He did the dancing with Kirk.
No, I know, but did Casey Smith was she like?
Was she what, aloof?
Yeah, or was she like hobnobbing with the crowd, like you said? I'm saying
she seemed to be. Well, they cloistered themselves away in their own corner, but she seemed to at least want to put her friendly energy out there. I don't really know her.
Yeah, but you felt that she was more friendly than Mutt was?
No, I thought Mutt was friendly, but I think Mutt wouldn't have been there had
but
not...
he felt he was a celebrity guest coming in.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Not like one of the...
He's also incredibly lazy. Like, he should be doing a podcast or something. Like, he's been unemployed for long enough now. Like, I've made a lot of jokes about your failing radio career, but you hustle. Like, you do the burn barrel. You never stop, and it, eventually that pays off. In some way or another.
It's destroyed our domestic existence, obviously, in every possible way. There's no doubt about that, and the ROI is not there. But
can I just say, Kirk says some wildly stupid things, but when he said about Alice, does she not have time to do the Leeches podcast when Alice has a full-time job and 5 children and effectively 6 children because of Tom? So how the hell do you even have time to scratch yourself? So I thought that was a wild statement from Kirk.
Well, I get the point he was making though, because she went after Cinema Lords for not doing enough podcasts. But then
not for doing. Right? No, I know. Not doing enough podcasts, for not doing like anything with his time.
Right, he doesn't. But then again, you had the chance to stab him right there.
Tom feels I wasn't like mean or angry enough on this
fucking
show.
Stab him if you got a problem with him. It was 2 people afraid to stab each other. I don't want to get into that because that's going to...
Tom's very critical.
I thought Alice was great on the show. It was just a bad combo. It was just not a good combo.
Shameless stuff. No wonder you people were with the...
How did you feel Tom was on the show?
Yes, how did you feel I was on the show?
I thought you were good. I was annoyed that it was a shorter show. Like Thursdays, he has to stop for the unnamed show. And I sort of felt that, it really needed a sort of that last 20 minutes where Kirk would have really just let you ask him whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
So that was my disappointment. It was a bit short.
Yeah, I did have some stuff to ask him too. But it also, it was, I was a position player in that show because, it was going to be about Coleman and Mick and previewing the basketball game. And the show would have no resilience. Because the basketball game is going to wipe it out, immediately for the next day. So So, but I had a lot of fun.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's just BS. It's every Minute fan listens to every show. That's just ridiculous.
No, I get that, but the rolling narrative.
I'm not going to let you get away with saying something that's stupid.
No, it's not stupid. The rolling narrative of the show was going to be changed.
The rolling narrative. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It was just he had to do the unnamed show. That's all it was.
Sir,
shut up.
I work for Odyssey.
This is not your radio show. We have to fill 4 hours of hot air.
He feels that people weren't talking about him enough after the show because the basketball game happened.
Okay, if that's a roundabout way of saying he didn't get enough personal attention,
yes, that is what it's a roundabout way of saying.
Yeah, this is why. Okay, Coleman and Black Lives Matter. The brothers and sisters stuff I thought was, and by the way, is another thing. Like Kirk's like, you didn't hear this before? No, I didn't fucking hear it before. I got 1,000 things going on. I didn't hear the KMS Twitter. I will check it the next time to know. But I think actually there's value to me not having heard it before and being astounded right there live. I thought that's amazing. Holy fuck, man! And I apologize. Like Australia's kind of like in America as well, where you guys have managed to find a way to be Western and fat and fun and drunk a lot, and so there are parallels there. But holy God, brothers and sisters, like Americans who have no real fight, no real challenge, no real nothing to fucking suddenly LARP and pretend. The brothers and sisters shit. I was a fool at 24. There's no doubt about that, and I was almost always drunk and fucking an idiot, and there's no doubt. There's no way I was going to do brothers and sisters at 24, regardless of the
he was 20. He was 20 at the time, and none of this is a surprise. I mean, we know what an idiot Coleman is. I mean,
that's why the deleted Twitter account.
Yeah,
exactly.
I get it. I mean, but come on, man. But I do like him. I like him more and more, especially like personally. The way he's the dude can take in. He's bulletproof. I mean, how many?
Well, I think you're exaggerating.
No, I don't think so. I mean, Kirk and I.
You're talking in platitudes.
In that show, for the first 20 minutes of the Thursday show, it was Kirk and I just taking shots at him the whole time, and he
gets super pouty. If you really rub him the wrong way, he gets super pouty, and he starts to. He can't have fun with it, and he tries to throw insults back at you that are just terrible.
That's usually callers. Usually, it's not usually somebody right there. Although he and Mutt did for a little bit.
But do you agree with me that he just needs to talk less on the show? Like, I don't care about his opinions. He's 24. I don't think he has a very well-formed. I don't think he has well-formed opinions on anything yet. He's not good enough to go toe-to-toe with Kirk on anything. Like, at least Steve Robinson could argue with Kirk. Cullinane could argue with Kirk in a sort of different way than Steve Robinson, but he could try. Right. Whereas I don't think Coleman's got that in him. So I think Coleman should just focus on producing, focus on getting good people in the studio with Kirk, and shut up.
But him discovering things like in real time is entertaining.
But I agree with Manners. I think it's a matter of not bringing any life experience. There's zero life experience there, and but there's a FM morning show laugh, like that is a very Barstool thing that he's got, and in like everything is Gen Z, but bruh.
But what is the real Coleman? Everything's fake. That seems to be Bordeaux. You go back in timeline. He was this hardcore Democrat. Now he pretends to be this hardcore Republican. Like, what is the real Coleman?
Well, and that's the interesting thing, because if you look at, that's the essence, really. Any guy I've known for over the years, and I used to work in hotels in my 20s, so there was a bunch of people who were gay. If you saw, so he does mushrooms with all his buddies. He's the one who has to be in the ambulance going there. If you saw, remember a couple when he started last year, he and his crew took out Gus to the L Street Tavern in Boston, and he was like blotto there, no apparent, like instantly he was the first guy down. And so I've always found it, and I used to be the first guy down a lot, just because I was a big gulper when I drink, because I was a fucking moron. I don't think that's Coleman. I think it's Coleman not knowing who to be. And I do think probably I mean, no guy says like, "Oh, I have 20 girlfriends who are friends," meaning girl friends. It's a weird thing.
I think in Gen Z people do though.
You do?
I think the younger generation, they do have like friends of the opposite sex.
I don't understand why.
But
why
I think
you
it
would
is
do that.
more of a thing now. I do.
Yeah, but then there's low testosterone then, because there's no reason. Girls have no honor.
Tom has no reason to be around women unless he gets to sleep with them. He doesn't like us, actually.
Women have no honor. Manners, I think you can agree there.
Oh my God!
Oh, come on, man! You know that.
What are you talking about?
Guys have a certain code, and you can communicate with guys without fear of fallout, etc. Especially when you're in your 20s.
Jesus.
Oh, you feminist, fucking socialist!
I just can't believe what drivel is coming out of your mouth. I mean, I think with Coleman, you put the pieces together, and it does paint a picture of who he is deep down. I don't think it's because he's got a lot of friends of the girls, but I think you add everything in that together. And I think I'm really sad for you that you can't be friends with a woman. I'm really sad for you that's your that. You and Kirk have this weird relationship with women. I don't know what it is about where you grew up in that particular time period. I mean, I guess I had a similar upbringing here, all boys school, very male centric. But fortunately, I've evolved. Anyway, go on.
I don't know that we know that it's true that Kirk can't be friends with women.
This is Menner's.
Kirk says some very strange things about women.
I don't think he says. I think I found him to be very hands off. Other than like Aaron.
He's very respectful. I'm not saying he's disrespectful.
Like almost to a fault. It's like, be sexist. Say a sexist thing. Howard Stern used to say but he doesn't. He's very guarded. But then again, who knows why that is? I'm sure there's all sorts of.
Probably because his daughter and wife listen to the show.
Do they?
Well, I think he's alluded to Kate listening sometimes.
Okay. Yeah, but still, who cares? They know him. Don't they? It's not my own. Oh, by the way, that makes me pissed off at Blind Mike, too.
Why are you pissed off at Blind Mike?
No, because he said, after we were on, he said, like, when Tom said about him and Alice getting divorced, like, why would you say it? Why would you say that on a podcast? Well, fuck you, Mike. Like, why? We're now encouraging people to not say real stuff on podcasts? It's like, fucking Jesus, dude. That is so antithetical to the spirit of the Kirk Minahan show. And
absolutely.
It's like, Jesus, why would you do it?
But again, this is an immature, and Mike's, not an idiot, but he's never been married. He's never had kids. He doesn't understand that, there are real practical considerations, to do with families and whether you stay in a marriage or whether you don't stay in a marriage. And you were just airing that out. You weren't saying, oh, Alice and I have just decided to suffer through because we can't afford it, that's probably the truth, but for Alice anyway. But Mike's never been in that situation where you might put your kids and the greater good ahead of, is our relationship going 100% well now? Probably not. If we were just boyfriend and girlfriend, would we split up? Alice definitely would. But Mike just brought a very immature slant to it because he just doesn't understand the situation. And Alice, so just what was you're stepping away from podcasting. Thanks for coming out of retirement for this show. What's the status?
So Tom convinced me I should keep like one foot in the door, at least doing Burn Barrel on Sundays. I've been
good idea, the Alice show.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just right now have so much going on at work, so much with kids. This month was like, because this time of year, I don't know if it's the same by you guys, but it's like the end of the school year. Every other day is like a concert or a softball game or a
I don't know how you do it. I found two kids impossible.
It's been
two kids and full time was impossible.
We would have the last 2 weeks if I'd been doing the show. It would have been like at 10 p.m. every single day that we would have sat down to start recording. And I get up at 4 or 5.
I'm with you, sister.
So like I was not. I just like couldn't. I was like I have to. stop doing one of the many things I do, and I can't quit my job, and I can't quit the kids. So it's going to have to be the 8 podcasts a week that we're recording. It's like, that's not going to work out for me right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I think that's a good idea. See if you can do one a week. So and that'll become the most listened to episode and stuff for sure.
I've been teaching Tom to fish, though. He learned how to like use OBS and put a Zoom call into it and put the stream key in. Like, he's been having to learn stuff, so that's good too. In case something happens to me, because before a few weeks ago, if I got hit by a bus, like, there would have been no more podcasts.
Well, I don't know about no more podcasts, no more video anyway. But the only takeaway from the last 30 minutes is fucking men are saying, "I'm with you, Sistah." Oh, that's so low. Annoying. That is so low, man. Jesus. Okay, quickly, let's go to Josh, the basketball team. Obviously, this has been, to me, I'm not a sports fan. It's the most intriguing thing in sports I've watched since the Pat's dynasty was good, or like the 2004 World Series with the Red Sox. I freaking love it, and it's exciting. The team tends to later in the game collapse famously, but man, I don't know that it would be worth watching so much without Josh and James doing the broadcast. It's fucking, you're a play-by-play guy, Menners. Those guys are freaking awesome.
Yeah, very good. They're doing a great job. Josh is a surprising talent. I thought this last game, though, they did ham it up a bit more. They really, they're getting more confident. They're getting a bit more like that big game announcer. But absolutely, yeah, big fans of their work.
Well, is it hamming it up, or is it applying energy where it's needed, where the game is dragging?
Yeah, no, I think they did a great job. I like the energy. I'm a big energy guy. When I'm cricket commentating, I'm big energy. So, yeah, I'm a big fan. And a bit like you, I'm getting more into the basketball. I think they've got the balance right this week. The first week, it was just all basketball talk. Now it's sort of about 50-50, which I think is fine. And if I was in anywhere near the area, I'd be going to every game. I mean, it's great. It would be great.
Yeah, no, so would I.
But they're not going to win a game.
Well,
it's tough because a lot of these guys they're playing against seem very young, and there's when it comes to athletic contests, there's just like almost no substitute for being like a 20-something man.
Which is a good knock on Kirk, which I'm going to bring up on the Manners Network tomorrow, by the way.
It's not like a knock on anybody. It's just that when you're a guy in your 20s, it's like a superpower. It just makes you better at stuff than other people.
Yeah, but Kirk has restricted the team. So he's restricted the team to only diehard years in minifans. You got to own the sweatshirt kind of minifans. The guys who go to Portland and Saco and all over the place. And so he's restricting a couple of people that would be really, really good, including Menner's buddy, Pat Gilroy, who would be good.
No, he'd be terrible. He'd be so satisfying. He's been ostracized now. Finally got what he deserved. But the problem with the KMS team is they've got the double whammy. So they're unfit and most of them are unskilled. So it's the double whammy effect. No player has both. Maybe Ron has both, but like Kirk's skilled, fit, but he's also 50. So
yeah. No, and that's tough. But the broadcast crew is fantastic.
But you're right. They could get some ringers. Like, there's no doubt if they went, okay, we're doing tryouts, there would be listeners who would come out of the woodwork who are 25, fit, athletic, could actually play. But they might be people you've never heard of, just listeners.
Right. It is more fun like this, definitely.
Well, and plus with the play-by-play it is. Okay, last thing, Menners.
Great.
It is. I have you mentioned that Kirk is like they're resisting getting him in on the in Barstool, New York, on the Survivor games.
Surviving Barstool, which I think they're actually doing at Chicago next time.
Oh, okay. I have a theory on this one. I want to know what you think about this. My theory on this is that Dave is now getting direct input from younger Barstool people, mostly females, saying keep Kirk out of the stuff. And he's listening to them now because Dave has a big Achilles heel. And what do we call that Achilles heel, Menners?
Well, it'd be his girlfriend, wouldn't it?
Yes, his girlfriend.
Feeding him this stuff.
His girlfriend, Miss Peaches. People are using, in Barstool, they're using Miss Peaches to influence Dave because he's a big pussy now about the piece of shit Pitbull.
And he's also girlfriend, like his actual girlfriends are all about 25 as well.
Well, right, so... but I think Miss Peaches, he'll listen to you if you're the 26-year-old, web editor or whatever, and you go and
they're patting Miss Peaches
exactly, and talk about how mean Mr. Minahan is when he's in the building, and how he's a jerk and whatever. I think Dave can be spellbound by Miss Peaches. And
I think that's just the worst theory I've ever heard.
It is
it's more like some girl who's got his mouth around Dave Portnoy's cock, and she's going, I hate that Kirk Minahan. And Dave Portnoy's like, I wouldn't mind her coming back here sometime. So
I don't think he has to do that. I don't think he has to sanction Minahan.
No, but I also don't think I don't think it's I think like they're just trying new people, and maybe Kirk gets in on it, but. There's been a lot of Kirk in Barstool content recently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's going to...
Well, and he's gotten some stuff. Remember, like, the YouTube got taken down because he said he was going to blow up the house.
Oh, right.
All that stuff. So, I mean, like, he sometimes does cause problems.
He's a troublemaker.
Sometimes. Yes. But that's why people love him, though, because he's willing to go there, and not everyone is. It makes everything so much more exciting.
All right, Manners. Anything else? Is that it? It's
just you mentioned before about Blind Mike.
Yes.
How are you two going? How's everything at Fort Shattuck?
Domestically at our house?
Yeah, go on. How's
good.
Everything
We're
going?
Working hard. We were doing outdoor gardening work today and clearing brush and all. It freaking never ends. So,
yep.
But all the kids are fine and we're fine and we're doing our thing. Blind Mike is he continues to big time me, which is
really.
Oh yeah, but it's fine. It's
well, he's bigger than you though.
Well, and I understand he's bigger than me, Alice, but still, it's that's fine. Some of us are people. Some of us are not people. It's fine. I'll mention him, by the way, tomorrow on 3 Up, 3 Down. As a matter of fact, Manners.
Oh, you're going on 3 Up, 3 Down.
Indeed,
right.
Which is
excellent.
Great show. Great show.
Mm. Yeah, I'm really happy we're in an era of peace between the main Manners Minifan network and then the subsidiary on the other channel. I'm glad now that we're in an era of peace and the Minifans can be brought together because Kirk likes division, but I'm a unity guy. Mm-hmm. And, well, the Manners Minifan network has won the war, so no reason to... No reason to continue the acrimony.
Hopefully I'll have more time on my hands when my failing radio show is canceled, which is happening at any time now. It's actually probably June, actually, thinking about it. Thank you, Manners.
Thanks for having me. Great to see you both.
Same here.
Thank you.